guys, welcome to All for Autism podcast. My name is Eunice,
And I'm Martins.
and we're so excited to be here. So finally, we are doing this video. All right, guys. So we're here to talk about autism, everything you need to know about autism. Okay, and first off, we would like to just define a little bit of what autism is, right? So, in layman terms, autism is a developmental disorder. So, it means it's a brain disorder, right? It affects how a person thinks and how they interact with other people.
Yeah, absolutely. Because when we talk about autism, the word looks very, very bogus.
Yeah.
And if you don't break it down to the simplest form of it, the word itself has no meaning. You go, this guy is an autistic child. This one is autistic. That's what we have been hearing. And the thing is, most people even have autistic people in their family, but since they don't understand or they don't know what autism is,
Yeah.
it becomes a very difficult issue to attend to. So this is why we are here. We are here to discuss about autism,
Yeah.
make you understand what autism truly is. Unveiling the real face of autism, not the how will I call it? Not make it look more bogus to you, but rather simplify it so that even if you are not yet that kind of Harvard trained, or you have not gone to the university to be trained about it, through this podcast, through this discussion, you're going to know the signs, you know the symptoms, you you'll be able to spot those things in an individual that is autistic. And so that is what we'll be discussing here
Yeah.
today.
Yes. So, like I said before, autism is a brain condition. Let's just put it at brain condition. Okay, so it affects how a person interacts and how they communicate. So, I'd like us to share. We're going to be sharing a few examples of how you can identify a child who has autism. All right. And one of the major symptoms of autism is that they avoid eye contact with you. Okay, so you give birth to a child and you realize that, oh, this child is, I mean, okay, one major thing is that autism does not show on the face. Okay, that is one major thing. You would never know a child has autism from their physical appearance. So people should stop saying, oh, are you sure because of the way he's looking? No, there are other conditions, right, that you can see from their physical appearance, like Down syndrome, and so many other conditions. But autism, precisely, it doesn't show on the face of any child who has it.
Yeah, definitely. Most especially children at their developmental age. You can't spot it out.
Yeah.
If it's an adult, oh, what's wrong with this one? What's wrong with this one?
Mm-hmm.
Why is this person? This person was not behaving like this,
Yeah.
and now the attitude, everything has changed. But when we talk about children, they are growing up, and we say every child comes up with their own different characteristics.
Yeah.
So you won't, without you knowing these symptoms, you will not be able to spot it so quickly. Like, okay, this is it. I think I've seen this, and seen this. And let me say something. You know, we are not trying to diagnose your child for you.
Yeah.
We are just trying to point out symptoms that you, as a parent or as a member of that family, if you see these things, you can probably take the child to the professionals
Yeah.
to now go for the proper diagnostics to help you to make it a quicker way, or will I say a quicker approach on how to handle autism.
Yeah.
So when she talks about not giving eye contact, yes, it's one of the things, because autistic individuals like their space. They like their being on with themselves.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like you having discussion with yourself,
Yeah.
but children, they don't yet know, they have not yet learned how to express themselves. So they tend not to keep that eye contact.
Yeah.
They tend not to do that. Every time you see the child, most of the time they are always down like this. They are
Mm-hmm.
always looking for one thing or the other. Even
Yeah.
if there's nothing in between them or nothing within them, they are always like this. They're always in a bowed down position, not wanting to
Make
interact,
eye
because
contact.
having this eye contact is a way of interaction.
Yeah.
So autistic individual, mostly in children, don't give this eye contact. And another point is delayed in speech.
Mm-hmm.
Some people say, my child is 3 years now, he's not
It's
talking.
not
He's
talking.
2 years
Yeah.
now, he's not even saying all this dada or baba. He's just quiet. My child is just, he's just saying, the child is not dumb. Are you
Mm-hmm.
sure my child is not dumb? No. Most of the time, it's not that the child is dumb. It might be a symptom of autism.
Yeah.
So, you spotting this out early enough in the child's life, it's kind of a way to, will I say, a quicker way to the solution
Mm-hmm.
of getting that child being diagnosed.
Yeah. Also, just to add to what you said concerning delayed communication or delayed speech, rather. I remember a client that we went to visit, and she said her son her son didn't speak till he was about 5 years. And in the process of the whole thing, trying to find out what happened, why is my son not saying anything? As at 2 years, you should start hearing one syllable from the child, calling you mama or mom or something, or just making sounds. He wasn't making any sound, he was just there. All she knows is that he loves cartoons, he loves toys, arranging them in a particular order. He's just by himself, just always on his own. And then her mom, which is his grandmother, started talking that, are you sure this child is not possessed? Let's take him to church. Let's go and pray. Let's go and do this one. Let's wash his head. Let's do that. And she was like, honestly, she said she won't even lie to me. She went to do all those things. But it did not change anything. It was not until, I think, when he was 3 years, she had to go to the hospital, and then they ran some checks on him and found out that he actually had autism. And so everything she was doing before then was just like, I should have just gone to the hospital from the very beginning. So whenever you see symptoms like this, and you feel like, oh, it's not everything is a spiritual problem. No offense, but you should seek help. All right, when you see that it's something unusual, please kindly seek appropriate help. Okay, take them to the hospital, run some medical checks on them, and make sure that these issues are something that, once you are aware about it. The reason why people do the things they do sometimes is because they are not aware, or because they don't have knowledge about this thing. So the moment she knew that her child had autism, she was put through on how she can manage the situation. So she now knew that it wasn't about going to the water side to wash his hair or something, or taking him to a pastor and all of that, but she was able to still manage the situation with the help of prayers. I'm not saying prayers are not good, right? But when you know something, you know the root of the problem, it helps you find better solutions to that problem instead of making him go through all of that. It wasn't necessary. They literally flogged this boy, like flogged him, just to for him to get better, or for they claim that that was the reason why he wasn't talking. Do you understand?
Well, that's making it not look as if
Yeah.
we don't, will I say, not religious. Yes, yeah. Even the Bible warned us that we should not be ignorant of the devices of the enemy. Yes, we are aware of that. We are aware that there are spiritual problems. We
Yeah.
are aware that there are spiritual vices. Yes, but also we should also be aware that most of these things are tied to the behavioral pattern of an individual.
Mm-hmm.
And most of it also, most of the solution are tied to the physical solution. spiritually, spiritual patterns are there and every other thing. But when like I have a neighbor back then, when the child was back then, I didn't have the understanding of what autism was.
Yeah.
So this guy will always like moving in circle. When other kids are playing, this child will just like that merry-go-round that if you do, your eyes will be turning
Turning
you.
you.
But this child will keep on doing that thing for minutes. Just going around, and that's another symptom of autism.
Yeah.
Someone having a repetitive behavior.
Behavior. Yeah.
You know, you're having that repetitive behavior, repetitive pattern. If you notice that in your child at the early stage, yes, my people, that child might be. I can't say that child is autistic because
Yeah.
I'm not trying to diagnose the child.
Mm-hmm.
But when you see such a symptoms, that child might be autistic.
Yeah.
So you have to do best for that child by taking that child to the professionals, to the
Yeah.
hospital. So that's repetitive behavior. It might not be yours might not be moving around.
Yeah.
Some have a significant pattern, and that is why one thing about autism is you listening and learning from that child. You discover your child always have a significant pattern, like bedroom, toilet, kitchen,
Yeah.
bedroom, toilet,
Like
kitchen,
a
bed.
routine.
It's a repetitive pattern. Just if you study such in a child, the child don't like going outside, don't like associating, and just go to the bedroom, toilet, kitchen for food, back to the bedroom,
Yeah.
toilet, kitchen for food. That is a sign. Yeah, that is a sign that you should take that child to. Yeah, you can take the child. You can take the child to your pastor and all of that, but you also need to take that child to the hospital
Yes.
for a proper attention.
Also, remember that the fact that you see all these signs does not necessarily mean that your child is autistic. So even when you see the signs, don't just assume or don't come to a conclusion by yourself. Go and seek medical help first, and they'll be the ones to tell you, okay, this is the diagnosis of your child. All right. So when you see the symptoms, don't just say, my child has autism, or don't panic. All right. If you see symptoms, please make sure you seek medical help. Okay, go to the hospital, let them run checks and diagnose that the child actually has autism. All right. So yeah. Any more words from you?
Um, Not really. I think we have kind of elaborate more about this autistic thing, and if you have been following us, you will discover that most of what we have said is about child, child, child. And that is to tell you autism can affect any age.
Mm-hmm.
Any age in a human, any age of a human being, adults, grandparents. Some people don't know they have autistic until their late age.
Yeah,
Yeah,
true.
because in this part of the world, stuffs like that are being tied to attacks.
Yeah.
Yes. So they have been tied to spiritual attacks rather than being how would I call it? A medical condition. Yeah. So most of the things we spoke about is being found in children.
Yeah.
Yes, but you can also see it in adults.
In adults,
In
yeah.
adults. But we are more concerned about the children because that is when it is still early and that is when it can still be managed, still be contained, and in some cases be corrected. There's severe autism and there is mild
Mild
one,
autism,
so
yeah.
it can be corrected. Yes, those characters, those behaviors in your child, delay in speech, not associating, and all of that can be corrected. And yes, autism is more commonly diagnosed in children.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, so those are the ones you can easily point it out and seek for solution.
Yes.
And I hope this little discussion we have had today helps a lot and try to put you in the right direction. And you wouldn't know all this if you don't try to learn, if you don't try to listen to that
Yeah.
child.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to listen and then you will learn, not the hard way. But you're going. to learn on how to handle that autistic child.
Yeah.
Thank you for your time. We hope to have you here. Same space, all for autism podcast. Do have a nice day.
Thank you so much, guys, for watching. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button and like this video. Watch this space for our next episode. Bye.